What if I told you that the so-called Queen of Loyalty, a Grammy-nominated celebrity, and a famed female rapper had just had her name included in an FBI murder investigation for a larger plot? But what if I told you that the purported target was actually Claressa Shields, the unbeaten boxing champion who just stole the limelight and Remy Ma's tranquility? Because that's precisely what's causing the internet to light up at the moment. Remy Ma is being blamed by a leaked federal document, unnamed sources, and rumors coming from within the courthouse walls. The charges were startling, unreal, and, in some ways, terrifyingly plausible. Was there a real attempt by Remy Ma to find someone to manage Claressa? Is someone out there framing? Or was this just a petty argument that got out of hand? Herself turning a scandal into a coup. This story has it all, including covert phone conversations, currency transactions, and a name that purportedly appeared on a private wiretap. The one question that nobody ever imagined we would ask aloud is now being asked by fans. Ma have the capacity to do this? Let's examine everything from the first hint till the FBI's arrival. How did we get here then? From rap ciphers and red carpets to federal agents whispering her name in a possible murder case for further inquiry? How did a Grammy-nominated rapper get there? The solution: treachery, envy, and a brawl that left more than just wounds. Because a tempest was brewing behind the Instagram filters and boxing gloves. Remy Ma and Claressa Shields were engaged in a quiet conflict that most people were unaware of until it might have almost been fatal. We all know that Remy Ma's past isn't quite spotless. This is the same woman who shot her own buddy over a few $1,000 and was sentenced to 6 years in jail. This is not a work of fiction. It's documented. People didn't merely raise their eyebrows when allegations began to circulate that Remy was upset over Claressa Shields becoming closer to Papoose, slamming doors and swearing in the studio. What if she snaps again? They murmured as it began. After a few fan theories and tweets, the warning signs appeared. Claressa was unfollowed on Instagram by Remy. She removed all the pictures that had the word Shields on them. Even though she had RSVP'd weeks in advance, she chose not to attend a significant event in New York City where Claressa was the honored guest. Perhaps a coincidence. Then the phone rang. Earlier this year, a witness came forward to say that they heard Remy Ma talking on the phone about hiring someone to handle a situation in Detroit. According to a leaked report from a private FBI source, Detroit is the birthplace of Claressa Shields. Pause now, because the feds didn't believe this to be just chatter. They launched a preliminary investigation after flagging the tip and recording the report. Why? Because that was more than just trash talk. This has to do with money, motive, and goal. Additionally, this witness asserted that Remy mentioned a dollar amount, according to the same source. Not manage it, not vague. I'll put 20 on it, just get it done. She allegedly responded, referring to the $20,000 needed to complete the task. No code word, no explanation. Let's go back now. What was the source of all this tension? Unbelievably, it all began during a birthday celebration at the end of last year. A close friend of Remy and Papoose invited Claressa Shields to an exclusive celebrity-filled party in Miami. Attendees reported that Papoose and Claressa arrived together. Despite not being in the same vehicle, they were spotted together, conversing, laughing, and even wearing identical attire. Is it a coincidence? According to sources, Remy Ma arrived late, and her face altered immediately upon seeing them, tight-lipped, silent, and cold. One of the guests described it without saying a word. She simply glanced before leaving. The hashtag PAPOOC party went viral in a matter of hours. However, it was the vibes rather than the DJ or the fashion that got everyone talking. In footage captured by fans, Claressa and Papoose were seen having what some called chemistry. You understand? It's too much eye contact, too many smiles. Additionally, Remy is already dealing with public humiliation, rumors regarding her marriage, and her previous infidelity. This was another instance of humiliation. After that night, according to many close to her team, she began to spiral, shedding tears at meetings, declining interviews, and threatening to quit New York completely. According to one insider, she thought everyone was making fun of her. According to her, they think she took my man and my respect. The next few weeks are dark. Remy disappeared from social media, canceled 2 live events, and only made one menacing tweet before coming back. There is no turning back once a person crosses the line. What if it wasn't about Papoose? Fans assumed it was. What if Claressa was involved? 2 months later, a guy is arrested on unrelated charges in New York, New Jersey. When being questioned, he unexpectedly tells authorities that he was previously contacted about doing a task by someone in the sector. Asked what kind of work he did, he replied, "I don't do hits." I responded, "No, but she was serious." That man was a well-known associate of a number of Remy's former acquaintances. Is it a coincidence? Perhaps. However, his description of the woman matched Remy Ma, according to a police report that was eventually sent to federal investigators. This is where the risk begins, 'cause they didn't play games after the feds were involved. Remy Ma's phone usage and travel logs. Her financial movements were examined and the results raised questions. After that birthday celebration, Remy took out $9,750 in cash within 72 hours. 2 days later, there were 2 more cash pulls totaling $8,200. No paper trail, no explanation. A total of almost $18,000. Only a few $1,000s. Less than the 20 she supposedly mentioned over the phone. Is that evidence? No, it's suspicious though, very. Not to mention that Ray is a prime candidate for criticism because of her past. She has already been found guilty of a felony. She completed it in real time. She is familiar with the streets. Alarms began to go off when the FBI got a second report about Remy apparently trying to silence someone who was talking too much from a different source. According to this source, Remy feared that Claressa would reveal her marital issues and publicly humiliate her once more. The most terrifying thing comes next. According to the same source, Remy was overheard stating, "She's not going to ruin me. I'll end this before she does." Investigators are interested in knowing whether that means end in a literal or symbolic sense. We're not discussing rumors about the Shade Room anymore. We're discussing a possible federal case that was sparked by odd money and anonymous tips, trails, as well as Remy's own turbulent past. As if things couldn't get any more intense, there was yet another leak. A voice memo purportedly recovered from a former Remy associate's phone. Someone who flipped for a bargain and was later captured. In a weapon sting, "I don't need her talking. Handle it. I'm done playing nice." 3 brief lines, no names, no locations, are heard in the clip from a lady who is thought to be Remy. However, the feds took it very seriously because Claressa Shields sought a temporary security order to increase her personal protection at public events around the same time that voice note was recorded. Is it a coincidence? Maybe again. However, how many coincidences must occur before it ceases to sound like poor timing and begins to appear like a blueprint? And there's more if. You think that's all? Because a reporter from a lesser-known Detroit media outlet claimed to have seen a copy of a redacted federal report with Remy Ma's name listed in the persons of interest section, not as a witness, but as a potential initiator, just as Remy's. Attorneys were attempting to kill the story behind the scenes. And that's when the internet and the streets went crazy. Everything changed at that point. Because the internet didn't just catch fire, it went nuclear when that redacted government report, the one that purportedly listed Remy Ma within the persons of interest category, surfaced. In a matter of hours, all of the major gossip sites, underground blogs, and Twitter detectives were involved. Punches were slower than screenshots. TikToks appeared that analyzed Remy's body language from previous interviews. Reddit posts started making connections between seemingly unrelated but unavoidably real dots. CNN became involved as well, a bit. Was because a genius altered a phony CNN chair that read, "Not because they covered it." Breaking Remy Ma is being investigated for a suspected murderous conspiracy. People began tagging Anderson Cooper and requesting a statement since it appeared so genuine. Let's now discuss the report. Insiders claim that the extensively redacted internal letter was a component of a larger inquiry into criminal conduct, tied to celebrities that was started by a slew of unrelated phone taps. However, this is the asterisk kicker. In one of those wiretap logs, a woman who was purportedly known as RM was heard saying, "It's better if she's gone. That's all I'm saying." That one sentence triggered a federal alert because, in addition to being mentioned in numerous calls, RM was consistently linked to discussions about payoffs, fights, and handling someone. Look, naturally, Remy Ma's team came out strong. The internet didn't care. They saw the quote. They saw the timing, her representative told TMZ, adding that Remy Ma is focused on her music, her family, and her lawful business activities. These accusations are completely false, slanderous, and part of a targeted smear campaign. Then, as if the universe was writing this script for us, a former bodyguard who had briefly worked for Remy came forward anonymously and said, she got people in an exclusive interview with a small but quickly popular podcast. They recalled the party and the look Remy gave Claressa. I won't go into much detail, but you'll know if Remy doesn't like you. Additionally, if she truly dislikes you, someone else will advise you to go before nightfall. Once more, there was no concrete proof, but it was supporting a very risky story. Claressa Shields then spoke up. Cardi B posted a confused face emoji and deleted it 10 minutes later. Fat Joe, who has been Rhee's friend and mentor for a long time, declined to comment when asked on his live stream. However, it was Papoose who truly rocked the room when he wrote, "Some things aren't forgivable. This isn't rap beef. This is real life." She didn't tweet or rant. She just posted a black screen to her Instagram story with the caption, "This ain't rap beef." Even if they are from their own country. What, immediately they thought, wait, is he confirming something? Is Remy involved? Was the truth revealed to him? Papoose became popular across the country in less than half an hour. Did Papoose know what Remy was planning? Did he try to stop her? Or did he just find out like the rest of us? This was the question that everyone was now wondering. Things only got worse when the anonymous texts started to appear. An unidentified source purportedly leaked a number of screenshots purportedly showing Remy Ma and a person with the name Us. One of the messages is shown here. I mean it. She believes I've softened. Everyone was giggling. When it's finished, I'll give you the remainder. Don't talk. The timestamps, punctuation, and wording all matched known points in the history. Even though the number was hazy, could it still be faked? However, an independent tech YouTuber who performed metadata analysis on the images asserted, "These are real. I've seen thousands of doctor texts. These don't show the telltale signs." As a result, the case now included a number of anonymous sources, a dubious cache trail, a redacted FBI mention, leaked messages, a motive of jealousy and humiliation, and a possible timeline that began with the Miami party. There was too much smoke to ignore the possibility of fire, even if it wasn't entirely certain. And never forget that Claressa Shields is a national treasure in women's athletics, a world champion, and a public character. She is not a mere incidental figure in Remy's life. She is a target, a symbol, and a menace to some. Let's now discuss the fans. For this was more than a scandal. It's turned into a battlefield. Supporters of Remy Ma claimed that she was being persecuted, slandered, and set up because of her history. They accused Claressa of being a victim and attempting to use Rhee's reputation to gain influence. According to one widely shared tweet, Charlers is merely upset because she was friend-zoned by Papoose. Another person stated, "When things go wrong, they always blame the Bronx chick." Remy paid her dues, let her live. However, the Claressa side refused to back down. When Claressa supposedly commented, "Some people talk big but fold when you step in their lane. That's why they attempt to fight dirty." Fans submitted screenshots, old images, and even analyzed her Instagram Live 3. Weeks prior, people were now asking, was that a warning? Did Claressa sense danger already? Then came the final straw. A video of a voice call that was echoey and blurry but purportedly authentic slipped onto YouTube for just 18 minutes before being removed. Down. In it. A lady who remarkably looks like Remy Ma declares, "It's on her if she ends up in the hospital." The video had 90,000 views before it was removed, but the internet never dies. Mirrors were uploaded, clips were reposted, and fans were terrified when it suddenly became clear that this was about safety. Violence and cross-line intentions rather than trivial feuds. FBI spokespeople had yet to release an official statement at this point. But legal analysts, online federal agents don't wait for a smoking gun if enough circumstantial evidence is gathered. To make matters worse, Remy Ma is still on parole. 1. Mistake? One charge Evan, a suggestion of intent could violate her terms of release and send her back inside right away. The stakes are life-altering. And just when we thought things couldn't get any worse, a sealed court filing appeared online, confirmed by a public case number revealing that a subpoena had been issued for a known associate of Remy Ma. The charge is complicity and conspiracy to commit harm against a public figure. What happens next? Was this all a setup? Is Remy innocent and being set up by a jealous insider or a bitter rival? Or is this the most shocking celebrity takedown in hip-hop history, orchestrated in the background, driven by emotion, and executed with a digital paper trail? Because, guilty or not, Remy Ma is now more than just a rapper in this story. She is a suspect, and the final blow was just around the corner. The tone of this story changed overnight when that court filing was dropped, confirming a subpoena for someone allegedly connected to Remy Ma. It was the beginning of a federal case that included names, dates, money trails, and one very dangerous narrative. Remy Ma, a woman who had once rebuilt her career after serving time in prison, was once again under government scrutiny for allegedly attempting to discredit one of the biggest names in sports. To make matters worse, her friends were beginning to disappear. A backup dancer who had toured with her last year posted and then quickly deleted this cryptic story. "There's no loyalty in fear. I said what I said." Fans went into overdrive figuring that one out. Another bombshell landed just as online detectives were searching the internet for new clues. Remy Ma's legal team went silent with no interviews or rebuttals. She requested a temporary gag order on media coverage related to her name. Now tell me, if you're being falsely accused of plotting something that could land you in federal prison, why would you silence the story instead of clearing your name? That silence alone screamed louder than a press conference. Claressa Shields, meanwhile, was maneuvering precisely, canceling all meet and greets, increasing security, and publicly thanking her fans for their support without mentioning Remy. Sometimes the most dangerous people aren't strangers, Claressa stated while speaking at a women's empowerment gathering in Detroit. When you won, they were the ones who applauded. Boom, sharp, subtle, and quickly going viral. All the outlets picked up that one line. One anchor added, "Everyone knows who she's talking about, but she's not naming names." Even Rhee's own fan base was split by this time. Some began to withdraw their assistance. Others completely flipped, unearthing old fights and interviews. To contend even Remy's arrest history from 2007. This is something she has always been able to do. A federal raid followed, which was the last straw. Yes, it took place in the background, in silence. Reports confirmed that there were no TMZ cameras in the area. Federal officials searched a Bronx apartment connected to Remy Ma's unidentified male companion. Things were taken away: a burner, 2 phones, and a laptop. No charges have been made. Yet this is what was leaked from that search, though. A number of voice recordings purportedly discussing clearing the slate and making things go quiet that were discovered in erased files. The most damaging statement of all is that she has no idea what's going to happen. Hold it that way. Relaxing. Now, take a moment to think. Remy Ma is no longer just accused if even one of those audio notes is shown to be authentic, and if even one of those cash transactions links to the man whose flat was seized. She's in a tight spot. Now, the entertainment industry was completely collapsing while the legal system was subtly intensifying behind the scenes. A Remy Ma feature part was removed from Bet's upcoming special. Her segment in a documentary about women in hip-hop was cut out while it was still unclear. And a luxury brand she had recently signed with disappeared from her Instagram. The partnership ended. Even the artists who were close to her started to distance themselves. Respect to the legend, but I can't co-sign any energy that brings danger to others, tweeted one collaborator. Are women. Sorry, it wasn't just business either. The personal side was falling apart. After being largely silent the entire time, Papoose was now seen at gatherings without Remy and without his wedding band. The couple is taking space. According to those close to them, which, in the context of celebrities, typically means the marriage is on life support. Let's be clear now, although no official charges have been made. Federal sources told an independent journalist that there is sufficient evidence to warrant a material witness summons, and possibly more if fresh information comes to light. The clock is ticking then, and guess who else just came in? The conversation. Joe Fat. I love Remy. She's my sister, but we don't condone any type of violence, especially not against someone like Claressa, who's done nothing but uplift our culture. I'm praying this isn't true, he said in a surprise. Instagram Live, that was huge. Fat Joe is her mentor, her ride or die. If he's publicly distancing himself, that says it all. And just when people thought it couldn't get any darker, the next twist came like a sucker punch. An alleged jailhouse call appeared online, not from Remy, but from a man claiming to be the one who turned down the job. The call is unconfirmed, the voice is grainy, and the source is anonymous. But the impact is immediate. The FBI was apparently in contact with Detroit police, the Bronx DA's office, and federal parole authorities. Why parole? Because if Remy even attempted to arrange violence, even if she never paid or never followed through, that's a parole violation under federal statute. And that could mean one thing. Remy Ma goes back to prison. No trial, no public circus, just one hearing. One hearing, one in the court of public opinion. Remy is already guilty. She has lost partnerships, support, relevance, and most importantly, the benefit of the doubt. So what will happen next? Will federal prosecutors file charges? Will Claressa press civil action? Insiders say Remy's lawyers are preparing to challenge the authenticity of the voice recordings and messages, arguing that her public image makes her an easy target for false accusations. And that's the nightmare her team is trying to avoid at all costs. But now that you've heard it, all the jealousy, the leaked recordings, the cash trails, and the terrifying possibility that one of hip-hop's most iconic women might have tried to permanently silence a rising star. Will more voice memos leak? Or will someone else come forward with the final nail in the coffin? Because this story isn't just about one accusation, but about power, pride, and how quickly someone can fall. When the internet smells blood, here's the question that no one can yet answer. Is Remy Ma being framed or exposed? Because if she's innocent, then someone just planned it. What do you think? Did Remy Ma really cross a line she can't return from? Or was it just bad timing and shady coincidences? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for the next explosive update, because in our next video, for exposing the man Claressa claims warned her first and his shocking ties to both Remy and Papoose. She is guilty. We've all just watched the darkest chapter of her legacy unfold in real time. This isn't gossip, it's a war. And we've just hit the next big thing. Level.